You have the Wall Street Journal editorial board, which seems to be on the right side of history this month, saying the lesson of Trump versus Powell. Gotta be clear.
Right. They're part of the resistance.
Well, I mean, this month, the Wall Street Journal Ed Board is part of the resistance with this opinion. If the president wants faster growth and less market turmoil, they write, he can help by ending his tariff campaign, then get Congress to move on a tax and spending cut bill and press ahead with deregulation. The main lesson from Trump versus Powell is the central bank cannot make up for the economic policy errors of politicians. Inflation is Donald Trump's fault, is what the Wall Street Journal editorial board just said at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they are certainly saying, and this is what Jerome Powell has said in his address this week, he has said, we have had the foundation, as Catherine says, of a strong economy, and we can wait and see. And in terms of chess versus checkers, at the very least, he's showing himself to be much more of a statesman than Donald Trump. And you can see the way that the Trump lackeys are out there making the case for why, in fact, we actually need to cut interest rates. This is all about Trump wanting interest rates to be cut because somehow that will relieve this massive wound that Donald Trump is inflicting on our country with tariffs. But I think that we have to go to the macro here, which is the macro of Donald Trump, who, by the way, in that clip you showed, he said, I've never been fond of Jerome Powell. He is a person who made Jerome Powell the chair of the Federal Reserve.
Lucy. He appointed him in what, 2017?
Yeah, exactly. So you have to think about the fact that, again, we have to come back to the macro here, right? And the macro is Donald Trump showing a complete disregard for the rule of law. And it's easy to get tied up in the specifics of the policies. Like, well, would reducing interest rates, I mean, Europe is reducing interest rates, would reducing interest rates cause tariffs to how would they interact? What's the nexus of tariffs and inflation and interest rates? But the bigger macro here is a president who is so disinterested in separation of powers, in the rule of law, in the role of an independent Federal Reserve, that he is saying, basically making threats to Jerome Powell, who is doing exactly what he should be, right? And is what we need all chairs of commissions to do. And we have to keep our eye on the macro. That is what is at stake here. And he's going to keep doing this for as long as he's allowed to do it. And we've got to stand up. And that is exactly what Jerome Powell is doing in his own way, in a way that is very professional, very statesmanlike, and exactly what is right for this moment.
And very true. I mean, also, a tariff is a tax that the American people pay.